Would you lead us in invocation and pledge, sir?
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I invite you to bow your heads for a moment. Gracious Heavenly Father, you open your hand, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. In spite of drone warfare, shipping and shopping blockades, nuclear threats, and political aggression, you've blessed us with a renewed defense, domestic manufacturing growth, a blessed farmer's market, a pretty entrance to the park, and a constitutional freedom that has endured nearly 250 years. By your hand, Lord, we enjoy homemade treats, beauty pageants, frog jumping, nail driving, tractor pulling, best-in-class art, agriculture, and shipping industries, and more. You hold in your hand all things great and small. From quantum physics to nanotechnology, you are God of all. Thank you, Lord, for the data on all these things, and that data grows. Give us wisdom to rightly process the data and to invest in the future. I ask you to safeguard our beloved America, our nation's electoral process, our elected officials, and our families. Let us serve you with obedience, Lord. Bless our land with honest industry, truthful education, and an honorable way of life. Strengthen marriage and family. Safeguard each soul. When times are prosperous, Lord, may our hearts be thankful, and in lean times, do not let our trust in you fail. Save us, Lord, from every evil course of action. With your healing touch, restore those who are torn. Give courage to those who suffer. Help us that we who have come from many peoples and many different perspectives and voices may become a united people. Support us in defending liberty and give order and justice and peace in our land. Guard and guide, Lord, our Judge Executive Jerry Summers and our magistrates across the county. Inspire our Mayor Jose and our council, our law enforcement, especially Chief Steve Schmidt and Sheriff Walt Scholar, our faithful responders under Chief Jody Craig, and our corrections under Brian Whitaker, and all who hold the public trust. Bless their decisions and work, and as you promised freedom in your Son, so now provide guidance by your Holy Spirit. This I ask for our good and your glory. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Thomas, thank you again. Appreciate that, sir. All right, call to order at 6:04. Can I get a roll call, please?
Faith,
Here.
Rob,
Here.
Jennifer,
Here.
Brad,
Here.
and Bonnie.
Here.
All right, I need an approval for the minutes from June 8th.
We have May 11th on here.
Yeah, we're gonna
It
do
was, that one, we had special meetings after that,
Yeah.
and we didn't approve those, and I just noticed it when
We're
we
gonna do
went
that
back.
next.
Okay, motion then.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Jennifer. Roll, Brenda?
Bonnie,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and Faith.
Yes.
Thank you, council. All right, now, for this is the approval minutes from May 11th that were missed.
Motion.
Yep.
June 8th.
I'm sorry, May 11th now. Oh, did?
No, we did May
Oh, I'm
11th
sorry,
first.
June 8th.
So,
Where's my?
that's okay.
Second.
All right, Faith,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
and Bonnie.
Yes.
All right, council. All right. Ms. Courtney, you'll get us started tonight. Why don't you come up here and give us an update on everything going on in the city of Shepherdsville?
Welcome, everybody. I want to give a quick economic update for a couple of things. I want to kick off with our industrial development. Shepherdsville continues to receive development inquiries and investment interest from companies looking to expand or locate or relocate into our community. We've discussed previously jobs, projects that are currently underway and under construction will bring hundreds of jobs and housing units over the next 12 to 24 months. Just a couple of things to note: the Tractor Supply, Marriott branded hotel, the couple of restaurants that we'll touch base on in the couple bullet points after you can see these things we've been discussing, but now you can see Tractor Supply. You can see the hotel going up. So it's nice to be able to watch those things come into reality. And the more we are talking, the more we will see growth. Development opportunities are emerging, but one thing Mayor Cabrera has taken a very strong stance on is data centers. I think you saw his post. We have, there's conversations coming in, just like lots of interest in retail and logistics. Data centers has also been brought into the mix and into the office. And his stance was clear that Shepherdsville's not the place for data centers. It was after listening to the residents, evaluating community priorities. This city is not actively pursuing any opportunities with data center development. This reflects the voices of Bonnie and the residents evaluating just our total future Shepherdsville, what we want, and that's just not aligning with our priorities. Economic development is not simply saying yes to every project. It's about attracting the right projects. So I appreciate that, and that helps us get a clear stance on such a hot topic. A couple of other things we want to note: family-oriented restaurants, sit-down dining establishments, quality retail opportunities. Those are things that we've been talking about. And as you can clearly see, the Japanese hibachi place, if you haven't been there, highly recommend it. My family and I have gone a few times. It's fantastic, and it's being extremely well received. The Fish House, its expansion, it's being extremely well received. And Salt River Brewery is expanding by the minute. So those things that, again, we were talking about 2 years ago, you're watching those unfold in real time, and then they're just not unfolding, they are thriving. And that's exciting, and that's a huge, I think that's an exclamation point to the commitment of the economic development in that retail hospitality space. We are currently working with the Bullitt County Economic Development Authority on a couple of other key projects, mostly in that retail sector, but they're pretty exciting. So we just want to congratulate those that have located to Shepherdsville, but then also those who have invested and reinvested, like the Fish House and Salt River Brewing continues to do. Bratcher Estates, Helen Heights, there's multiple housing pieces progressing. We just know that that's one piece of our housing pipeline. And our goal remains creating a community where people can find housing options while remaining connected to our community. This is still a need. We are still recruiting. We are still listening. But again, not every project is the right project. So we are trying to be really careful about not just infrastructure concerns, but also the needs of our community. Tourism, community events, quality of life. The highly anticipated aquatic center, it's going to attract so many things. And we're talking about things we don't have now: swim lessons, swim teams, exercise programming, recreational opportunities, rehab opportunities. These are bringing business in from outside our community. These folks will be investing. They will be eating at our restaurants. They will be staying in hotels. This is very positive for the economic growth. The recent opening of the park and trailhead, that represents more investment, and that is a return on investment. If you've been to one of the events that's happening those Friday after 5, there's hundreds of people gathered. They are having it's a community style, it's family style, and it is certainly fun. These projects help create a community where people can spend their time and raise their families in the city of Shepherdsville. Our partnership with Kentuckiana Works is a huge piece of our workforce development. The 502 Commute Initiative launched earlier this year, and we are continuing to tweak it. I will tell you, we are focusing on bringing transportation to and from this area right here. We're trying to encompass the employers that are here, the Lowe's, Walmart, Rivian, JOM. It just seems to be a smart way to start out. So we're working with the leaders that represent those folks to say, what new positions do you have? What staff do you have that could really benefit from this transportation opportunity? Kentuckiana Works is also developing outreach materials, and we're already thinking about what's the next stop and how do we grow that program. Third party and regional partnerships. Bullitt County Development, they're working on multiple things. We talked about the retail recruitment. One thing I just want to touch base on and kind of spend the most time on, Kentucky Main Street program is going to be something we're going to hear a little bit about. we are exploring an opportunity related to the Kentucky Main Street Program. This preservation-based economic development model focuses on a few things. We are checking every box. So basically, this is something at the state level, this is something we'll work through Frankfurt with. But you have to put the initiative in first, and they will come in and help supplement and lead the way on some things. Sustainable organization, quality design, effective promotion, economic vitality. Those are all things that we're starting that we could certainly use a partner in. The participation in this program could provide us access to design assistance, historic preservation resources, tax credit assistance, national register support, and future grant opportunities. So we are taking this very seriously. We were actually recommended for this program. So Shepherdsville possesses several of the characteristics that make us a very strong candidate, and we are evaluating this opportunity strongly.
Lori Puccini did that in
Mount Washington, and it was a huge success. So I really like, again, 3 years ago, I don't know that we could have gotten the attention. I think now we can. And even if we just get a couple, just get a little bit of design assistance, the tax, that alone could save us significant dollars. So I don't want to have an update without an infrastructure and transportation update. I think something that is key for all of us is another Salt River crossing. We are working with that. We're working with the engineers, and we just ask if you have input, participate in a meeting, make sure your voice is being heard. But we all know that definitely that second crossing right here in this area is extremely important. We are also looking at, like the mayor has preached every time he gets the chance to talk in front of the state legislatures, a future exit. We're looking for another exit north of this city. Internal traffic relief options, just small things like working with the schools. When school comes back in, the traffic patterns for those school drop-off and pickups, they really affect the city. Although we don't have control over it, they affect us. So we want to be a good partner to make sure we're helping line out feasible options. And then obviously long-term traffic planning. And that's about public transportation, that's about Kentuckiana Works, and partnering with everyone we can to sit around the table and say, okay, what does 5 years from now look like? What is 10 years? Because we want to make sure we are building blocks that make sense to set us up for success. We're encouraging public participation in all of these things. We want to make sure everybody knows we're focusing on stormwater management and draining improvement. Some of these new projects are actually helping address infrastructure challenges that we've been facing for decades. So it is helpful. We just need to be diligent, stay the course, and make sure we understand what we're expecting from these new developments. And I feel like this group specifically has done a great job evaluating that. Regional momentum, I just want to share 3 facts about Shepherdsville that we continue to stick out, especially in this state, especially right now. Number 1 is our logistics advantage. Although Shepherdsville population is under 15,000, our community supports an employment base that is significantly larger than our population due to our strategic location along 65. So major employers, distribution centers, GFS, McKesson, FedEx, Amazon, those people are in a great strategic place right now, and it's fantastic that they are housed right here in our community. Strong labor demand. Recent job postings show that tens of thousands of employment opportunities in and around Shepherdsville area exist, and the demand is significant and concentrated in transportation, warehousing, distribution, freight handling, and logistics. So as we're making decisions, we want to make sure we understand those are the employment opportunities. That is what is attracting, and all of that leads to strong economic growth. So I'm just going to repeat those because not all of these are bad words. Some of these we really do have to look at in a different light. Transportation, warehousing, distribution, freight handling, logistics, and support services. Those are really helping us shine, and in the state, we are resilient for some of those specific labor demands. Last is the resilience during the economic uncertainty that is now. While Kentucky experienced a slight increase in unemployment and decrease in overall statewide employment, transportation, warehousing, logistics remains among the state's most resilient sectors, and that includes making Bullitt County a shining star. As a result, communities like Shepherdsville continue to benefit from strong employer demand. So it's nice to know that even in the state, some things are kind of moving in the wrong direction, even by a tick. Because of what we do and where we are still in a pattern of growth when a lot of cities are not seeing that. Shepherdsville's locations, workforce accessibility, transportation infrastructure continue to position us as one of Kentucky's premier logistic communities. Why it matters, big picture, logistics remain a cornerstone of our economy. We are building a complete community. We want the jobs here, but we also want restaurants here. We want houses here, we want recreation here. So I just ask that you keep all of these things in mind as we are considering, as you're listening to your constituents, ask questions and really get a feel for what they're looking for. But make sure you're also helping them understand this community, this is really what we're based on in the name of economic growth. Last, as we continue to grow, our goal remains clear. We want residents to know 25, 30 years from now, we want the houses, we want a community, we want support, we want to continue to offer strong jobs, quality housing opportunities, and most importantly, a high quality of life. We want Shepherdsville to remain a place where people can work here, live here, play here.
I want to add a couple things to that. When you were discussing this, first of all, the impact of the things that we're doing, the progress over the last 3.5 years has been significant as far as the history of the Shepherdsville. But what's important about that is the private industry has to know why. Why build in Shepherdsville? Okay, and the reason why they're doing that is they're seeing us investing in the community. And they look at the things that we're doing. From a KLC standpoint, economic development at the state level is they're very interested in this. And they understand that we have housing coming. We have 1,200 homes, townhouses, and apartments coming in the next 2 years. We have the job opportunities. We know already about 400 jobs. Obviously, we have 400 jobs plus what else is going to be coming in.
Right.
We haven't even got into these buildings within the industrial park full. So when those people come work in those 3 buildings that are back there, 2 that haven't started yet, you're going to have an opportunity to have that kind of occupational tax. When you talk about revenue in the state, we're 10% above that, right. 10% plus on the revenue piece. And that's what's actually helped us build the city park, skate park, and all the things we talk about. When you do that, people come to this community and they'll go, why? Look, you have all these nice things here. Why don't I live here? That was never the conversation before. Right. Okay, and so the strife and the different things go on. But you have the opportunity for housing. You have the opportunity for employment. And so what we're actually working with right now, KLC, and I know Brad and I worked on the strategic plan, but we have a transportation plan. We're meeting with the governmental affairs of KLC to show them everything we're trying to do here. Mark and some of the things that you guys have brought up, we're taking that to them. The immediacy of talking about, I knew you went right over that interchange. 119 would divert about 1/3 of the traffic off of 44 and out of Shepherd. And if you're looking at projects for the city, that one would immediately help us, give us a 5 to 10 year reprieve so that we can work on these other things. The road's not gonna be built tomorrow. There's a lot of process that goes in it, but if we can get that, it's already been on the books, there's been some designs. If they could see, with Bell's Mill, we saw what that impacted us, right? So now we throw another interchange in there over the next 5 years. That changes the dynamic, and I know, Mark, we've talked a lot about extensively some of these things, and I think it's important for people to know that. Right. You know, we do understand the water issue, but the 96 line, the 72-inch line, I think you guys are very aware of that. And it's, to me, that we know that our progress is coming. We know people want to move here. We see the reasons why, but they also know they don't want to be where they're at. Right. And so that's coming. Their choices are their choices, so we have to accommodate that, but we have to put that balance in there.
Well, I think it's important to note the Bullitt County Economic Development Authority, they are repositioning the board, so every city is represented. And so now we have a meeting once a month where all of the cities are talking about economic growth, and when we have a need, we go as a united front. Not just as one person from Bullitt County or 2 people. No, we go with one mission, one talk. And that is going to make a difference. It will be reflected in the decisions that are made, not just for infrastructure, but for other grants and fundamental needs that this community has. It's going to benefit all of us.
Yeah, and one last thing on this, you're talking about all the activities that we've started here, okay? So you got Amber and you got Sam, really putting things really nice together over the last 3.5 years. And that's really important because now people have things to do here instead of traveling. Nothing against Mount Washington or E-Town or Louisville. Now we do have that 5 or 10 minutes, we actually have festivities here in our own town.
Yes.
And we see that, people are looking for that. So when you're looking at everything that's going on, that development that we put in here, the investment we're making into the city is paying off for not only the people that are living here, but the future people that live here. And you're gonna see a regional impact with the aquatic park. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Please come out to the America 250 on Saturday. It's gonna be a great event. I'm just super excited. There's kids doing a flag retirement ceremony all the way up to some older veterans showing off their antique military vehicles. It's going to be a little bit of everything. Anybody have questions?
Okay. Thank you all
right.
very much. Thank you, Ms. Courtney.
Thank you.
All right. All right, well, thank you again, Ms. Courtney. All right, old business. We're just gonna go reading through all of these old businesses here that you get
Okay,
started.
we have 14.
Oh, what's this name?
I added it just now.
We got that one.
Oh, okay. You-
026014.
All right, so, first that ordinance is gonna be 026014 for the council.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026014, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of 0.36 acres more or less located at Raymond Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 027 SE 008 from B2 Central Business to R3 Residential, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 9, 2026, docket number 2026Z-20, and recommended that the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map be amended to change the zoning of 0.36 acres more or less located at Raymond Road, also known as parcel 027 SE 008 hereinafter subject property from B2 Central Business to R3 Residential. Section 2 sets forth that the City Council had a public hearing on June 8, 2026. Section 3 sets forth that the City Council adopts the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission's findings of fact and recommendations, including but not limited to any and all restrictions placed on the subject property as set forth in docket number 2026Z-20. Section 4 sets forth that the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are amended to change the zoning of the subject property from B2 Central Business to R3 Residential with any and all restrictions that may be set forth herein. Section 5 sets forth the severability clause. Section 6 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 7 sets forth the publication requirement.
Your boy saying, Pastor Tom, oh, he's coming back. He's got his agenda. I thought he was leaving. All right.
Motion to approve, I guess,
Second.
if we don't have any discussion.
No, on the second readings, we obviously go right through the reading and then we vote.
Did I hear a second?
Ms. Bonnie? Thank you. All
All
right,
right,
Brenda?
Faith,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
and Jennifer.
Yes.
All right. All right. Second one here now is 02611015.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026015, an ordinance of the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky establishing fire department regulatory fees for site plan review, fire hydrant layout approval, and fire hydrant flow data requests, providing for administration and collection, and providing an effective date, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that the title of the ordinance as City of Shepherdsville Fire Department Regulatory Fee Ordinance. Section 2 sets forth the definitions. Section 3 sets forth the following fee schedule. Service description: residential single-family site plan approval, fee amount $250. Residential multifamily site plan approval, $300. Fire hydrant layout approval, $150. Fire hydrant flow data request, $150. Commercial single building site plan approval, $350. Commercial multi-building site plan approval, $400. Section 4 sets forth the administration and collection of fees established by this ordinance. Section 5 sets forth exemptions from fees established by this ordinance. Section 6 sets forth the severability clause. Section 7 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 8 sets forth the publication requirement.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Rob.
Second.
Second by Faith. Rob and then Faith.
Rob. All right, Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Jennifer.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, council. 026016, amending the handbook.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026016, an ordinance amending ordinance 021034 of the City of Shepherdsville related to adopting a policy and procedure manual for non-elected and appointed employees of the City of Shepherdsville relating to employment matters of job classification, hiring, promotion, discipline, and other employment issues. Sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow, co-sponsored by Councilmember Rob Adams. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that ordinance 021034 is amended as set forth herein. Section 2 sets forth that Section 7 related to health, retirement, and other benefits is amended to provide that the city may provide health, dental, and vision coverage for employees and their dependents up to a maximum amount as determined by the city and reflected in the annual budget. Section 3 sets forth the severability clause. Section 4 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 5 sets forth the publication requirement.
Motion.
Second.
All right. You got Bonnie and then you got Rob.
All right, Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Catherine, 0260117.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026017, an ordinance amending ordinance 025013 related to a personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow, co-sponsored by Councilmember Rob Adams. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that ordinance 025013 is amended as set forth herein. Section 2 sets forth that Section 3 related to the Public Works Department is amended to remove the positions of Parks and Recreation Director, Parks and Recreation Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation Operations Assistant, Athletics Coordinator, Parks Worker 1, Parks Worker 2, and Parks Worker Seasonal. Section 3 sets forth that Section 7 related to longevity pay is amended to set forth the longevity-based pay for the Parks and Recreation Department. Section 4 sets forth that Section 9 related to civil service is amended to exclude all department head positions and the city clerk position from civil service pursuant to KRS 90.300. Section 5 sets forth that a new Section 10 is added, creating a department known as the Parks and Recreation Department, and sets forth the positions, base pay rates, and authorized staffing levels for the Parks and Recreation Department. Section 6 sets forth the severability clause. Section 7 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 8 sets forth the publication requirement.
All right, Council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Rob and then Bonnie.
I have a question about this.
Yeah.
So we just read one where the only positions excluded from civil service, and it didn't change it on it, is fire chief, police chief.
That's because they were already
They're
excluded.
excluded because they're appointed.
Right, but this one is totally, why wasn't it amended on here, on the handbook? We're doing it on the pay classifications, but the handbook is not in with
What handbook? The employee handbook?
the one that you just read. It reads differently than the pay classifications.
The summary reads different than the other.
Yes, they don't match. And I'll find it.
Okay. You mean it doesn't match the actual ordinance itself?
Yeah, it's talking about, which positions are excluded, but, it's not matching the pay classifications now, I can't find it. But they didn't match, and now it's saying that all of them are being excluded, it didn't match.
You can't exclude the other department heads from civil service.
No, they're not part of it.
By law, the only ones that can be excluded
Yeah.
is the fire department
You
and
want to
the
explain that to me?
No, actually, no, under 90.300, the way that they define employees to be covered under civil service, the positions of city clerk and department heads are not deemed to be employees for purposes of civil service. So they are not included
we
there.
go through this, every mayor, we go through this argument, right?
And I thought they were grandfathered in,
Um,
the ones, I mean, unless they're new.
So the KRS 95, there's a chapter 95
Yes.
that says that there you can exclude the fire chief, assistant fire chief, police chief, assistant fire
those
chief.
are the only ones that can be excluded according to that.
We adopted our civil service we used 95, I forget which one section, to adopt civil service under KRS chapter 90.
Darren?
That's the way our ordinance reads.
Unfortunately, I'm not really up to speed on anything lately on this, so I would have to defer to the city attorney.
Okay.
I'm just letting you.
Should we
she brought
table this
to
for a
me.
minute?
I'm not trying to
She
create
said-
a argument, but of all the years that I've been here with the civil service and everything, and through all the attorneys and through
Police can vouch for that.
everything.
I think we should table it.
Well,
I didn't want the department heads in there, so I want you to know, I didn't want them in it, because I think every mayor should have the right to pick his own department heads, just like the president and everybody else. But previous councils set it up where they included it, the original, Faith was on the original ones that did it.
Because I don't think anybody should be
We
fired.
weren't covered, because we weren't covered under 95. She
And that-
explained to me why we weren't
So-
covered under that.
So we used chapter 95 point something, I forget the exact one, to create our civil service using KRS chapter 90, which covers all of it. I'm not even 100% sure we were supposed to use that one based on on how many residents we had, but that's what we did. Okay, at this point, so much time has gone by, so it's almost like fine. But when we base it on KRS chapter 90.300, the way that they define employees, city clerk and department heads are not employees for purposes of civil service. Therefore, they are excluded by their nature of not being deemed employees only for the purpose of civil service. It gets a little confusing.
I guess what my question is,
I don't agree.
is this like, we currently have department heads in civil service. Are they now removed from civil service?
They would have to be grandfathered.
Arguably, they were never in civil service. When state law says they're not in civil service, we as the city cannot say, yeah, we're gonna change that.
Yeah.
The state said, here's the parameters. If you want this, you follow what we do, what we require. And they give us a lot of discretion, but in areas where they don't, we have to follow it. So arguably, department heads, even if we try to attempt them, have never been and were never meant to be. And
I'm
should
fine
not
with
have
them
been.
not being, but I'm just not sure that there's just been too many people argue with us and tell us that they are part of it. So it's at a point of who's right. And I'm not saying anything against you.
No, I know.
It's just that every other attorney has told us that they're in it. That we couldn't take them out of it, because we've tried to before, and they would not let us. And they're saying absolutely not, so.
When Catherine brought this to me, she was saying that what you guys use as your preface to that, it makes it null and void because you're not actually following that statute, okay? And that's what, I think the problem comes in, if you were trying to do that, I don't know that you can do that, but again, because it is a state, how do you undo that? The fact of that is you've had it the way it is, it's null and void because it wasn't in the process. That's what Catherine brought to me. That's why this is even a conversation today, okay?
So is ours built under 90,
Yes.
300?
We've had this conversation, so
We've
I
had
know.
this every time.
Well,
I
I will tell you that I've had a lot of discussions with KLC over this ordinance for several years.
KLC's really in tune with our civil service,
Well,
to be honest with you.
civil service is, it's a
pretty
complicated, there's a reason why cities have gotten rid of it. But when I read the statute and when I read our ordinance, there's several things in our ordinance that don't actually comply with the statute that at some point we're gonna have to address.
Well, we could do it at some point, but we need guidance when we do it. From somebody that's really knows the civil service. That's my opinion.
Well, I can tell you that based on the amount of research I've done, I probably know it almost better than anyone at this point.
Okay.
Better than a lot of attorneys at KLC,
I
because,
think the confusion came from, and it goes back several years, where we had a classified civil service ordinance, and then a mayor came in here and scrapped it so he could protect everybody. And then years later, we went back and reverted. And so we had a segment of people that were protected and a segment of people that weren't. But I can tell you, from my experience, I know that in most cities, the executive staff level management, like in the police and fire department, have always been excluded from the classified civil service.
Well, it's in 95 that they have to be. The chief and the assistant chiefs in both departments.
Yeah, both of them.
Have to be
Tell the rules
in
on
KRS 95.
to follow that though.
They
But
have
they're
to be,
excluded from the
that they're
class.
excluded from it.
Right.
But
So what's the argument?
the argument is whether we can remove the other department heads.
I mean,
Yeah, that was my question, cause it's now pushing, like, it's now just changing, and I didn't know if
So this is
if
the
we
second
were
reading.
saying, hey, whoever was in there is still in there,
well,
Yeah,
I think it follows
Or
all the
do-
department heads.
Because I think
Well,
all
the
you
thing
have
you
to
run
set
in-
everybody.
the thing you run
grandfather
into-
everybody's,
Yeah, the thing you run into is you say grandfathered. If it wasn't done right to start with,
Right.
that doesn't,
that's
grandfather
what I'm
has nothing to do
saying,
with
we're-
it.
you know, and
No, if it's not followed in the right procedure, and this is what, when Catherine brought this to my attention, when we were talking about it, she just wanted to make sure that we were following what we
The
said
law.
we were. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
she's
the
telling me,
cameras.
she says, I need you to know this, that this was not set up properly, even though it might have been well intended to protect. Whatever the motive was at the time you all did it, for the folks that were involved, you just, if you don't, guess what? You're gonna be more up for,
Well, I think there's a difference between, just because you're not in civil service doesn't mean your job's not protected.
Right.
yeah, I think,
So-
I think just from an unemployment standpoint, there can be any process that you need. It'd be just like any other job. If you're fired unfairly and you're not, it's not documented, then yes, you're still protected as any kind of employee. But I think the biggest thing that you wanna do is, are you following the right thing? And when she brought this to my attention, she says, this is what you were following, and this is what you should have been following for this. And so, again, in that, and maybe in the first reading, maybe that wasn't understood, or maybe, like Jennifer said, because I was grandfathered in, that's still not, that doesn't solve
No,
our.
I was just using their terminology of
Okay.
grandfathered in. I'm
Right.
saying,
Right, I even asked about that.
I'm just asking, so is this, are we going by this, or are we saying, well, going forward? That's all I'm asking.
So what we're
Like,
saying,
as if, if we vote this in, that they're no longer protected by civil service.
yes, as far as that service for them to protect them being employed and
Yes.
unemployed, yes.
Yes.
So what she's trying to, are you trying to find it now? What you're trying to show them? I saw you researching, I just wanna make sure, again, the biggest thing is, to me, I stand with just making sure we do it right. Because again, anytime that we would ever let anybody go for any reason, you better make sure you dot i's and cross t's. There's not that. Rob, did you want to say something?
Yeah, since we want to look at this a little bit closer, I think we should table this, so I want to withdraw my motion to approve and then table. Make a motion to table, and then we can talk about it next meeting. As
No,
we've-
I'm just telling you, I think we better make sure that we're very clear in listening to what Catherine says. I just
Yeah.
feel like that we need to make sure that it's understood that,
Yeah.
that if this is what it
What
needs
it
to be.
says.
Yeah.
This
So, here's how you all did it. Here's how the city did it. It looks like in 2006 and then again in 2013. It used KRS 95.761 to create, it said you can create a civil service for your, police and fire. And it says, and if you elect to do that, then you can adopt, either KRS 95, or you can adopt KRS 90.300, et cetera, for everybody in the city. So what the city did was they used 95.761 to say, we're going to adopt a civil service for everyone in the city under KRS 90.300. So then you defer to 90.300 when you are talking about, everyone. So that's where, and then when you go to KRS 90.300.310, it defines employees and it leaves out the definition, department heads and city clerk. Presumably, like Bonnie said, so that when a new mayor comes in, whomever was a department head, if they wanted somebody else, they could appoint that new person. So, and there's provisions, or there can be provisions about, well, if they were in the, it's not in the civil service, whether you can do, the city could decide if the new mayor comes in and they don't want Billy Bob as their department head, and Billy Bob, before he was promoted, worked in the Billy Bob department, could he just be demoted back to what position he was prior? And that can be a discussion that you guys can have to where it wouldn't be a total firing, it would be a demotion, assuming he had been not brought in from the outside. If he had been brought in from the outside, then
He can be let
he
go.
can just be let go.
So are you saying that provision is not clear in our ordinance? as
I'm saying
far
right
as-
now, your all's ordinance, your all's ordinance also goes back and forth on who's included and excluded, and then we try to correct all of that in another
Every
one.
attorney has argued that it wasn't right. So that's why it kept changing, is because every
I
time.
agree with you.
Well,
I
it's
think
not changed that much.
It's-
It changed in 2006, and then in 2013, it changed
It changed.
twice.
Yep,
That's when it had it both.
I wasn't on then.
Yeah, it did something
Yeah, you were.
weird, and then it
I
changed
didn't
it.
change it second time.
13, no, we're 13, 14.
I was on.
So the
first-
last time it got
first vote.
changed was 2013, the civil service ordinance. So,
There was a lot of debate
I know
over
who you're
that.
thinking of.
oh, I know, because I went back and I actually, I pulled the minutes from those meetings to figure out how we got to where we got. So, I mean, I did a lot of research. This isn't just me looking at it and going, oh, okay. I mean, I pulled the meeting minutes, and they were very thorough, actually. I talked to several people at KLC. I've done my own research. There's not a lot of guidance in the state of Kentucky because at this point, only about 10 cities outside of Louisville, Lexington have this out of 420. So there's not a lot. But as I think if anyone's read the Pioneer News this week, obviously you don't necessarily need civil service to make sure employees are protected if they believe they've been wrongfully terminated. So, but if there's a motion for, and we can certainly do that, and I can kind of prepare a whole long memo of really going through the bouncing back and forth in the statute of why this is. And
Well, I'm not against it, I just wanna make sure that we're
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's for the public to know. I mean, obviously, it would be the best thing to figure out when you come in, you take assessment of who you have. You don't just terminate people. You don't do that. We did not do that. And I think that's the thing that people need to understand. There's gotta be a qualification. And then sometimes, as we've learned in small towns, I'll say that more so, maybe even big towns, people get actually selected based on nepotism or friendships or whatever, and then we find the qualifications not being up to, right? So we've seen that. And so we don't want that. And so what we want to do, though, is what do we want for future mayors to have as far as their ability to bring the people they want on? But if the smart thing of a mayor coming in would at least take inventory they got, that would be the prudent thing to do. But I will say this, if the statute doesn't match with what we're trying to do here in the city, it would really be smart to make sure that, first of all, we follow the statute, and second of all, in any situation, if you've seen already in the time we've been in office, we try to document everything properly. That's why we don't have those situations, and I don't want to pick on Matt Washington, but you don't have that because we were trying to do things in a legal way and a fair way to both the employee and to the city. Okay, that's important when you guys are making, when people talk about this, the hiring and the termination process, there's a lot that goes into that, and you have to really think that out. But you have to make sure that you're able to have the ability to manage and hold people accountable long before you decide you're going to terminate somebody. That's the problem you run into, right? Bonnie, and I think that any of your comments. What?
Did you wanna also discuss what it said about 95 and the population? Because
Well,
I had
Yes,
this
there
long
was a population
conversation.
number with those too, yes, I remember
yes,
that.
and I'm not 100% sure that
We qualify?
at the time that this was even initially enacted in '06, that the city qualified under the population. But at this point, given that it's been 20 years, I think that you have an argument that at this point, people have, relied on something, so you
I want it to be right. If I'm gonna sit there and say,
So what I was at least trying to do is I knew at the very least, because you are allowed to adopt. I mean, it didn't matter the population. We could have adopted the civil service. It's just the method. But at the very least, under KRS 90.310 is actually the definitions.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to make sure that the city matched the statute.
Yeah, in 90.380, it has in here like protection from dismissal, suspension, and so on, and it mentions in here officer or employee under that. So I'm wondering, what does that mean?
Would that be police officers or firefighters?
No, it's not
If you're
talking
saying
about,
officers?
Oh,
no officer.
so what
Oh,
they
officer.
don't mean police officers.
Okay.
So you can have, technically the city clerk is an officer. And so that's what they mean. You set their wage, their salary.
Well, it says,
in that.
should any officer or employee concede that he has been aggrieved by the abolition or the proposed abolition of said office or position, he may anytime within 90 days file petition in equity in the circuit court. So that's saying that under the civil service, that an officer or an employee can file a grievance. So to me, that's saying that the officers are in the civil service.
No, I mean, that was an example. So you could create an officer position that would be covered, if they're not a department head. I don't know what that necessarily would look like, but
Say, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say that again to everybody.
I believe what that's saying is that if, say, if you have an office or a position and you want a means to get rid of an employee, you can't abolish the office strictly for the means of getting rid of an employee. You still have to follow the normal due process.
yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. We will still need to then come back because this was also creating the Parks and Rec department. So if we table, or maybe table this one, we'll still need to come back and do the Parks and Rec. Because,
And I'm willing to go forward with it, but I would still like for you to send me something showing. I don't know what you'd send me other than reading the KRSs, but.
just send you, I guess, more of an
More
explanation and
information
more
about how-
detail and,
So I can pick out what they're saying on that. I mean, cause if we come back and say, no, we don't agree with this, we can always change it back. That way we can.
And we
let
can. I mean,
Parks and-
we
That
can.
way we can let Parks and Rec,
all of us.
right, cause we need Parks and Rec to be able to move forward.
Yeah, cause I mean, that piece, I mean, I was
So
thinking.
he's withdrawn, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead with the vote.
And I'll second it.
I'll withdraw
And
my
Brad
motion
seconded.
to,
Tony withdrew his motion.
hang on,
Yeah,
poor Brenda.
All right, so
Okay,
Bonnie has a
so
first motion to.
Bonnie and
on-
Brad.
Yep.
Bonnie,
yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yeah. Yes.
Rob,
yes.
and Faith.
No.
And what we'll do, we'll make sure that she gets you as much information for all of you to read through all this. I think the key in this is to make sure that we're following it the right way, and I think that, and I appreciate Catherine doing that. I wanna make sure people
Yes,
understand.
thanks, Catherine.
I mean, she did a lot of work on this, and when she came to me about this, I understood what she was talking about. Again, her job is to protect the city, okay, and how we take care of things.
If
So-
she read all that stuff from back then, I feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Well, but you need that history if you're really gonna move forward and you're saying, okay, we need to amend, or do we just need to overhaul, totally repeal the old civil service and start with a new one so that it is more in compliant? You need to know the history of how you got there, and those details, mattered, so. But yeah, I'll get something out to you guys. And anytime, I mean, I think when I sent that to you guys in the email, I said, hey, we were removing these people from civil service pursuant to the statute and how they defined it. If I ever do that and you guys have more questions, feel free to call me or email me. I'll be happy to walk you, through more of the details. I try not to overload because sometimes nobody wants to read a really long email automatically. So, but anytime that you feel like you've got more questions that I haven't answered, I'm always available. All right, so that one, they passed.
Yes.
Where did he go? Where'd our,
He kind of went
okay.
down there a little.
Are we?
Go ahead and read the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance zero, oh, there he is, hang on. All right, you ready for me to read 18?
I'm ready
Okay.
for it.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026018, an ordinance amending ordinance 024019 related to establishing fees for usage of the City of Shepherdsville's wastewater treatment facility, sponsored by Councilmember Jennifer Mendez, co-sponsored by Councilmember Faith Portman. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that ordinance 024019 is amended as follows. Section 2 sets forth the amended definitions for commercial user and residential user. Section 3 sets forth the amended fee for truckers who haul holding tank waste and discharge it to the treatment facilities is $100 per 1,000 gallons. Further sets forth the amended fees for discarded sludge from other wastewater plants is $100 per 1,000 gallons. Section 4 sets forth the following amended rates and charges starting on July 1, 2026. The volume-based user charge rate and customer charge rate for each customer class shall be as follows. Total gallons of wastewater consumption discharged per month, 0 to 2,000. The volume-based charge for the customer class residential is $15.42. Customer charge is $10.42. Minimum bill, $25.84. Total gallons of water over 2,000, $7.71 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge not applicable, minimum bill not applicable. Total gallons of water consumption discharge per month, 0 to 2,000 for the customer class commercial. Volume-based charge is $17.34. Customer charge, $10.42. Minimum bill, $27.76. Over 2,000 gallons of water, the volume-based charge is $8.67 per 1,000 gallons. The customer's charge is not applicable. Minimum bill not applicable. For the customer contract class beam facility, total gallons of water, any flow, the volume-based charge, $9.35 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge, $6,226. Minimum bill, $6,226. Starting on July 1st, 2027, the volume-based user charge rate and customer charge for each customer class shall be as follows. Total gallons of water consumption discharge per month, 0 to 2,000 for the customer class residential. Volume-based charge is $16.96. Customer charge, $11.46. Minimum bill, $28.42. Over 2,000 gallons, volume-based charge is $8.48 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge not applicable. Minimum bill not applicable. Total gallons of water consumption discharge per month, 0 to 2,000 for the customer class commercial. Volume-based charge, $19.08. Customer charge, $11.46. Minimum bill, $30.54. Over 2,000 gallons, $9.54 per 1,000 gallons. For the volume-based charge, the customer charge not applicable. Minimum bill not applicable. For the customer contract class beam facility, any flow of total gallons of water, the volume-based is $10.28 per 1,000 gallons. The customer charge is $6,848. Minimum bill, $6,848. Starting on July 1, 2028, the volume-based user charge rate and customer charge for each customer class shall be as follows. Total gallons of water consumption discharge per month, 0 to 2,000 for the customer class residential. The volume-based charge, $18.66. Customer charge, $12.60. Minimum bill, $31.26. Over 2,000 gallons, volume-based charge, $9.33 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge not applicable. Minimum bill not applicable. For the customer class commercial, total gallons of water, 0 to 2,000. The volume-based charge, $20.98. Customer charge, $12.60. Minimum bill, $33.58. Over 2,000 gallons, volume-based charge is $10.49 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge is not applicable. Minimum bill not applicable. For the customer contract class beam facility, any flow discharge, the volume-based charge is $11.31 per 1,000 gallons. Customer charge, $7,553. Minimum bill, $7,553. Further sets forth the following surcharge rates for excessive strength sewage. Surcharge rates. BOD surcharge rate, 60 cents per pound in excess of 200 milligrams per liter. TSS surcharge rate, 48 cents per pound in excess of 250 milligrams per liter. NH3N surcharge rate, 96 per pound in excess of 30 milligrams a liter. O&G surcharge rate, 53 cents per pound in excess of 100 milligrams per liter. Section 5 sets forth that Section 8 is amended to delete the, quote, not before a date that limits when the schedule of user charges and surcharges may be reviewed or revised. Section 6 sets forth the severability clause. Section 7 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 8 sets forth the publication requirement.
Motion to approve.
I just want to make sure, just real quick, I've just made Mark, Mark, thank you for coming out. We really didn't know. I mean, obviously, just want to make sure you all know, there was a lot of work put into putting these rates together and looking how it was going to be able to play. I don't know if you need any questions from Mark, but I brought him here just to make sure if there's anything that any of you all needed. But again, we understand that this is a utility that we've got to take care of, and there's an obligation we make. Obviously, we're going to watch the next couple of years, and we'll see how the bourbon industry, as well as Jim Beam does during this time. But obviously, we see our own growth being somewhat of a balance, but that rate is going to keep us in that, making sure that we're meeting our obligations. So I appreciate you being here. I didn't know if they had any questions, but I want to make sure. Yep.
I do.
Yep.
I think that the public needs to know how much this project that we're getting ready to do, putting the clarifiers in, how much is that project costing? Is it 22 million?
Come on, Mark, if you want to come up here for a minute.
I don't remember the final cost.
Neither do I have to look it up.
I was thinking it was
Thanks,
around
Mark.
22.
Right, yeah, right there you go.
I think by the time you include some construction contingencies and the related engineering services, the total project cost is $25.9 million.
So that explains why the rates are going up.
And that expansion is very important to the growth of the city.
And that's not much going up for what it's
I have a
actually
question.
costing.
What is the price of how much it's going up monthly?
It's 10% higher this next year than it is today. The following year, it's 10% higher, and the following year, it's 10% higher.
So possibly, how much you think that is? Like $1 something?
Without it,
I mean, my understanding it was $1 or $2.
It's,
like a couple dollars a month.
yeah, it's
It's not a lot.
And it's
$2
half.
to $3 a month, I think, is the
So in 3 years, it's
increase.
gonna go up $5 to $6 total.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
I
mean,
think,
I was all for it, but I've been talking to people and they're not happy about it, really.
Well-
I mean, you think about the economy right now, the groceries. Groceries, gas prices, utilities, everything's going up. I don't know, you know,
we
I
are
don't-
fortunate to be in our system than MSD. MSD is about, we're about half the
We're
price.
not Louisville, so.
Again, but you're looking at utilities and you're looking at growth. There's a cost, it doesn't matter where it's at, there's a cost.
Well,
in
we need to
engineering.
raise sewer tap-ons or something for people that are building. Let's do it that way, instead of putting it on our residents.
But they're using the service. Again,
Well,
there's.
they are using the service, but new homes coming in should be paying a little bit more tap-on fees. I mean, some of them, a couple years back, 4 years back, we're getting them for free.
I don't know about
And,
that.
you know, I'm like, that's not right.
No, I don't agree with free, but, but I
I
do
was
think,
all for it in the beginning, but I went around all weekend and talked to, people in different areas, not just mine. I went Sycamore Bend, talked to a couple friends over there. I went to Salt River. I went to Cedar Grove, Beach Grove, and nobody was happy about it.
I think it's vital to, we have an obligation to obviously cover that. So there's two ways, this is not just the expansion, this is just about making sure that we take our annual rate. I
Okay.
mean, again, we've got grant money tied into this, okay, that was substantial, and a lot of that's because of our situation. I think the key in all of this, though, has to be, is it the right thing to do for the city's growth? Okay, when we talk about we're just talking about just the stormwater piece in this, right? We talked about, it's gonna be expansion for the growth, but we right now have a situation, we just see the kind of weather we've had. That water gets into the sewer system, that is not a good thing. Okay, there's two problems with that. First of all, you're having to run the water, and second of all, what's supposed to go in there doesn't go in there. And we know about how much that is a health hazard. Okay, so we do need to understand, we don't take any of this lightly. Okay, this is done at a very minimal level because it has to be done. We did it in 3 parts because we knew it would be too much to do. If you remember way back when they did it 60%?
Yeah, I was involved in.
60%?
I was against that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Only
that's.
one person voted against
Again,
it.
I truly believe that was ridiculous. There should have been a better way to approach that. This is a real smart way to move forward with what we're doing and to make sure that we cover the costs that we need. Again, part of our situation is we're financially sound over there. And that we're able to do the expansion, Mark, and we've talked a lot about that before, is that is necessary for this community to continue to grow.
How
And
much
this
are
is-
we allowed to raise it? Like, generally on every year? What is the amount?
Well, that's another problem. For the number of years it hadn't been done up until we started actually raising the rates. That had been done like 10 years. Or
We
something
set
like
an
that.
ordinance to.
And there was an
to-
ordinance.
There's a
that was
state,
supposed to be done every
there's a
year.
statute that says you gotta raise it.
Well, the problem was back in 2011, when they went broke, is when we had to do the 66% on the sewer. Nobody wanted to do that. None of us wanted to do it,
I didn't.
but we had to. We didn't have a choice, because we didn't want somebody else coming in and taking over
And then
ours.
we put the ordinance in place that every
And
year
then
it was
every
supposed
year,
to
the
go up.
mayors would say, no,
And
no, let's
the
not
mayors
do
didn't
that.
do it, or somebody didn't do it. Is that the sewer
No,
plant's
I can tell you-
responsibility?
No.
I don't know.
It's,
So,
No, but it's been a problem every
Well,
year.
when's the last time we raised it?
we raised it just a minimum.
Not since you've been here, we have.
Yes, we raised it a minimum by the obligation.
All these years, we haven't.
How many times did we raise it?
We raise it every year.
Every
Yeah, it's
year?
an yeah, you
Every
raise
year.
an obligation, you're supposed to raise it.
Is this one where if you don't raise it, you lose it? There's some that if you don't raise it as you go.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's that, but there's a statute that says we're obligated
There was an
to raise it.
ordinance
We're
too.
supposed to raise it.
Percent, wasn't it?
Now, if there's a, what,
2% or something.
yeah, it's not a very big number.
I don't remember what it was, but it should have been
don't
done
have it on the phone.
years, and it wasn't.
There's a Bureau of Labor Statistics rate of inflation for utilities. And you're supposed to raise your rates every year to keep up with inflation. For many years, it wasn't happening. And even in the recommended 10% increase, that encompasses that 3 to 4% inflation. So the genuine rate increase is about 7%.
Yeah, and again, I mean, obviously, we understand our community. There are a few people in our community that $2 a month is a big deal. I mean,
It is. It is for people that are single, people that are widowed, people that are
On
on social
fixed
security, you
incomes?
know.
We get it, but again, we either have the certain, if we don't,
Bald people,
so,
you know.
so what if? Again, the fact is, we don't want the what if. Okay, the dire needs are either making these obligations work or somebody else running it. We wouldn't think of it that's a dire situation. But when we think about what we need to do to continue the services we offer, this is a fair, and again, we have selected people within our community. You know, maybe there's some assistance programs or anything like that, but I can tell you, for this is very feasible for the majority of the people living in it. We've got to think like that, because if we don't take care of this utility, it becomes a whole different conversation.
So Mark, going out 3 years, and you said it was about 10% each year.
It is.
So how much, I mean, does the new bond and Jim Beam, all that factors into how we arrived at that figure, is that right?
That is correct. Jim Beam's reduced their production at the facility that discharges. So their reduction in revenue is factored into the recommended rate increase.
All right.
With their less loading, some of your other costs will go down because you're not treating as much of that high-strength waste. We've factored in inflation of other costs as well as anticipated growth.
So do you see that after that third year, do you see that stabilizing to where?
I do, yeah. There's, unless the city took on additional projects or, you know, the Jim Beam facility significantly decreases, you'll be in good shape for years to come.
Okay.
And because again, a lot of that, I mean, when it came up with the number, we weren't gonna do that number. There's no way we were gonna do the 30.
Well,
So
I was gonna add that, I mean, I was concerned too when I saw the percentage of the increases over 3 years, and so I did a little due diligence and looked around, and really, even with the increases, I mean, we're kinda at the low end as far as the sewer service. MSD, their base rate, I think, is $49.99 a month. And then, but I looked different places around the country, and, there's some that their base rates are in the low to mid-30s, but most of them are significantly higher, so.
And a lot of those areas they have resources to reach out to help these people.
Right.
We don't have all those
We don't.
resources.
We don't.
And that's the problem. I mean, I know people that are living off of Social Security and are getting $800-900 a month. If they didn't own their homes, they wouldn't be able to make it. It takes me $1,000 a month just to breathe. Thank God my home's paid for. And that's, that's insurance and, homeowners, car, all that, $1,000 a month. And that, if I didn't have the money I had, I wouldn't be able to pay it, I have a retirement and Social Security, but some people don't have that. Gotta think about that. $800 a month, I don't know how they live. Really don't. So, that's my opinion. I'm not trying to sway anybody. So you all go ahead and do what you wanna do.
I think I already have a motion out.
You do. I need a second.
I'll second.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
No.
Rob,
No.
Faith.
No.
Mark, thank you so much. All right, Ms. Catherine.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026019, an ordinance adopting the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky annual budget for fiscal year July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027, by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government, sponsored by Councilmember Rob Adams. Whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the City Council, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1. The annual budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027 is hereby adopted as follows. Resources available under the general fund. Funds carried forward, $3.5 million. Total fiscal year 2025, 2026 carryover, $3.5 million. Estimated revenue, occupational tax, $19,146,000. Property tax, $4,711,939.92. Insurance tax, $1.6 million. Other taxes, $300,000. Franchise tax, $110,000. State incentive pay, $429,760.08. Business licenses, $150,000. Inspection, building permits, plan review, $200,000. Liquor licenses, $23,000. Police, court, warrant reports, $30,000. Administrative services, $0. Restricted revenue, $390,000. Miscellaneous revenue, $405,300. Interest earned, $500,000. Municipal road aid, under general fund 0, MAP LGEA, $192,000. Total estimated revenues under general fund, $27,996,000. Total estimated revenues under MAP LGEA, $192,000. Total resources available for appropriations under general fund, $31,496,000. Total resources available for appropriations under MAP LGEA, $192,000. Appropriations, administration, total payroll under general fund, total payroll expenses, $1,116,000. Total employee expenses, $285,700. Total department operating expenses, $1,685,050. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $93,000. Total contractor fees and services, $410,000. Total miscellaneous expenses, opioid funds dispersed, $50,000. Capital expenses, principal on bond, $864,000. Capital expenses, car purchase lease, $10,000. Capital expenses, furniture, $36,250. MAP LGEA, $192,000. Total capital expenses, sorry about that, is $910,250. Total administrative is $4,550,000. Total administrative under MAP LGEA, $192,000. Public Works, total payroll expenses, $1,055,800. Total employee expenses, $316,000. Total department operating expenses, $325,200. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $243,000. Total contractor fee services, $60,000. Capital expenses, amphitheater, $2,700,000. Capital expenses, dog park, $300,000. Capital expenses, road improvements, paving, $400,000. Capital expenses, vehicle purchase lease, $125,000. Capital expenses, benches, $5,000. Capital expenses, trailer, $5,000. Capital expenses, lawnmower accessories, $30,000. Capital expenses, miscellaneous equipment, $30,000. Capital expenses, small purchased assets, sidewalks, fencing, signs, $282,000. Capital expenses, other purchased assets, $130,000. Total capital expenses, $4,007,000. Total public works, $6,007,000. Fire, total payroll expenses, $5,932,995.20. Total employee expenses, $1,415,599.80. Total department operating expenses, $365,405. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $440,000. Total contractor fees services, $78,000. Capital expenses, fire truck loan, $632,000. Capital expense vehicle purchase lease, $38,000. Capital expense miscellaneous equipment, $98,000. Total capital expenses, $768,000. Total fire, $9 million. Police, total payroll expenses, $6,425,473. Total employee expenses, $1,162,761. Total department operating expenses, $539,552.56. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $767,213.44. Total contractor fee services, $21,000. Capital expenses, IT equipment and systems, $30,000. Total capital expenses, $30,000. Total police department, $8,946,000. Council, total payroll expenses, $100,000. Total employee expenses, $75,100. Total department operating expenses, $10,000. Total contractor fee services, $7,900. Total council, $193,000. Parks and Recreation, total payroll expenses, $350,500. Total employee expenses, $90,200. Total department operating expenses, $254,500. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $184,800. Total contractor fee services, $420,000. Capital expenses, the Greenwall project, $100,000. Capital expense, 5K trail, gazebo renovations, brownfield properties, $100,000. Capital expenses, miscellaneous equipment, park accessories and structures, $80,000. Total capital expenses, $280,000. Total Parks and Recreation, $1,580,000. Overhead, total payroll expenses, 0. Total employee expenses, $12,000. Total department operating expenses, $75,000. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $643,000. Total contractor fee services, $465,000. Capital expenses, furniture, $25,000. Total capital expenses, $25,000. Total overhead, $1,220,000. Total appropriations under general fund, $31,496,000. Total appropriations under MAP LGEA, $192,000. Excess of resources over under, 0 in general fund and in MAP LGEA. Estimated fund balance to be carried forward to fiscal year 27-28 under general fund, 0, under MAP LGEA 0. Section 2, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance. Section 3, all prior ordinances or parts of any prior ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 4, this ordinance is adopted in accordance with KRS 83A.060, and that it was introduced and given first reading on June 8, 2026, and given second reading on June 22, 2026, and shall be in full force and effect upon publication pursuant to KRS Chapter 424.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It was like 3 people.
I know.
I think it was you and then you. And then I'm gonna give you like a 2C
Well,
or
you
2.
kept giving me the evil eye, so I'm afraid of motion.
Were you trying to be
Okay, so who got it, Faith or
Robin and Bonnie?
Okay.
And then Faith was right there. We can do the instant replay.
She got the third.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Faith.
Yes.
Council, I do want to make sure, and I did say this, I want to make sure, again, me and Angie are going to sit down, and when we get done with what the carryover is, I've already figured out what it means. I spent this weekend just getting it all lined up, so whenever we do the carryover, you will get exactly every bit of that carryover. A lot of it centers into the park and the playground area, but you'll see it. But I want to make sure that, but I will also tell you, I did talk to Tom and I talked to Brian, that if that number goes over that million, and it's more than 4.5, that money goes right into the roads. We're gonna try to continue, anything over that, so if we get any additional funds, we'll take care of that. I wanna make sure that's my commitment to you, and you will get a detail on that, Rod. Everybody, good? All right, thank you, Council. All right. Miss Catherine?
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026020, an ordinance adopting the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky sewer operation and maintenance budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027, by estimating the revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of the sewer department, sponsored by Councilmember Rob Adams. Whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the City Council, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027 is hereby adopted as follows. Resources available, fund balance carried forward from state grant fiscal year 2025-2026, $3,277,860. Estimated revenues, sewer revenue, Louisville Water, $4,202,500. Sewer revenue, Mount Washington Sewer, $34,000. Jim Beam payment, $1,080,000. Sewer capacity fee, $25,000. Sewer connections, tap on, $50,000. Sewer connections interceptor, $2,000. Residential communities or commercial sludge, $6,000. Interest income, $200,000. Miscellaneous revenue, $22,385,607. Total estimated revenues, $27,985,107. Total resources available for appropriations, $31,262,967. Appropriations, total payroll expenses, $1,716,000. Total employee expenses, $303,750. Total department operating expenses, $1,151,262.50. Total facilities and equipment expenses, $1,171,500. Total contractor fee services, $265,000. Total capital expenses, pump replacement, $100,000. Total capital expenses, number one updates, $50,000. Total capital expenses, wastewater treatment plant expansion, $15 million. Total capital expense asset management plan, $100,000. Total capital expense Richmond bond principal, $770,000. Capital expense rural water principal, $275,000. Capital expense A20906 principal, $25,000. Capital expense A24021S principal, $150,000. Capital expense vehicle lease purchase, $50,000. Total capital expenses, $16,527,000. Total expenses, $21,134,512.50. Total appropriations, $21,134,512.50. Excess of resources under appropriations, $10,128,454.50. Estimated fund balance to be carried forward to fiscal year 27-28, $10,128,454.50. Section 2, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any clause, line, section, paragraph, or part of this ordinance shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance. Section 3, all prior ordinances or part of any prior ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 4, this ordinance is adopted in accordance with KRS 83A.060 in that it was introduced and given first reading on June 8, 2026, and given second reading on June 22nd, 2026, and shall be in full force and effect upon publication pursuant to KRS Chapter 424.
So Mark, I do need to ask you a question before we get a motion on this one. We need to figure out, calculate, I need to give a Scott and Arthur and figure out not having that rate increase. I don't know what that actually part of the revenue piece. I'll need to figure, well, I don't know what that is. I know we have kind of a roundabout number that we were talking about having for covering our annual costs, and we did the 10, we thought that would cover it. Since this has been voted down, I gotta know how this affects this budget.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer to that.
No, I don't. So what I'd like to do is, council, well, let's make a motion, vote on it, and we'll go from that. And then, like I said, if it passes tonight, I'm gonna tell you, I've gotta reach out, and we've gotta look at that revenue piece. I don't know what that is, but we need to look at that.
That's gonna be a substantial impact on the budget.
Yeah, we need to look at that. So again, I would tell you that because we wanna pass a budget, we can always come back and amend it. But let's make a motion on this one.
Motion?
Rob?
Well, before we get to that,
I'm just telling you,
personally, I don't wanna pass a budget, Scott.
I get it, I just
It's
wanna
got
get.
numbers that we know aren't gonna be correct.
You don't have, because we gotta have it done by July 1st, so we'd have to come back and actually do a special meeting just on the sewer, which is fine. I just want you all to know that that's what we need to look at doing.
Yeah. Could we just,
You have to do 2 special meetings.
Because you have to reread the first, do the
You
first
gotta
reading.
have 2 readings.
Well,
This
yeah,
gets
yeah,
voted
well,
down.
yeah. Then we'll do what we need to do.
And they gotta be 24 hour, no, not 24 hours, just separate days.
Yeah.
we've got an evergreen clause that basically we just continue from the same
Yes.
budget, right?
Yes.
So maybe we do that until we get firm numbers on what we can agree on.
Okay.
I
Again,
agree with you.
Mark, and so we'll get back and do some number crunching on that, because that's gonna be important. We're gonna be able to run those utilities. Okay, so we just,
So are we voting no on this
No,
one?
And we probably need numbers on how it's gonna affect our project.
yep,
We have to pass it to the, or we,
Well,
when's
what
the
I'm
deadline?
saying is the
Like
numbers
30?
but July, so if you don't get it by July 1st, you just keep, your sewer budget will be the same as you were last year. You run with that until you get your budget passed. That's happened a couple times
So
before.
do you wanna do the vote, do we wanna just vote no? And then, redo the numbers?
You can
on it?
table it if you want
Or
to.
table it.
Well,
Withdraw my motion to approve and, motion to
hang on,
table.
hang on, whoa. There's no point in, so these numbers we know are gonna change?
The revenue piece is gonna change that,
Yeah.
taking out the
For
rate
sure.
increase.
then I see no reason to table this. Just
Vote it
make
down.
a motion, vote it down, and then we
Yeah.
just,
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't he already have his budget ready before he even
No,
submitted
it's,
this
it's,
to us?
no, he said that you all had talked to him about it and that you guys were good with what was going on. And that included the rate increase.
Yeah.
And that, I heard that from
Every one
Scott.
of us met with him and told him we were
Yes,
okay
we
with it.
did, but I didn't realize it was that much. They told me 1 year. I didn't know it was 3 to 5. No, I'm not gonna agree to that.
So if you look at it from the standpoint of
I'm not
each
gonna feel
month,
guilty about it either.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm not gonna be guilted into it.
Well, there's nobody's guilting anybody. So we just, the reality is we have a service we need to run for the community.
Right.
Okay.
well, I mean, okay.
So we can vote on it and then come back and amend it after, or what do we do?
On the budget?
Yeah.
Well, so Brad was saying he doesn't feel comfortable voting yes on the budget, on that,
Because
because he
the
knows
numbers
the
are-
numbers are incorrect.
Right.
So you've got that position, but you could do that. You could vote this in knowing that, okay, some of those numbers are gonna tweak, or you could just vote
No.
no, and then we still gotta come back. And either which way, we're gonna have to come back and do something, but it's a
Right.
matter of, do we come back and amend, or do we start all over? If we come back, and it doesn't really change anything other than you're gonna have a budget, you're still gonna have, when you amend, you gotta have 2 readings, so.
So what we'd have to do, Mark, is a couple of different things. We'd have to look at their actual expenses versus what the revenue piece is. Once we look at what that significant difference is on the rate, we would have to cut it out of our expenses in our operation, if we were gonna try to go that route, which may have to be the case. Now, obviously,
We're still gonna include the cost of living raise in there, so we're not losing everything, but
yeah, we're gonna have, I mean, so I'm just, I mean, again, we can, I just think the reality of this is, in my opinion, is we look at, we obviously are concerned with those few in our community that are on those fixed incomes faith. I don't ignore that at all. I just think when you're looking at the city and operating a very significant piece in its growth and what's gonna happen, we need to be really thinking about this in the long term. I
So
mean,
what do
again,
y'all wanna do? You wanna vote on it, or you wanna vote it down, or what do you wanna do?
I'm gonna.
I say we vote it down.
You don't need to rescind.
With my motion to
Pre-motion?
table
just-
and
just-
motion
yeah,
to
we'll-
approve.
We'll go with his motion.
Okay,
to-
there we go.
To vote on it.
Second?
Did you want to say?
What was the motion?
I'll second.
Now you're all having me really
What's,
confused.
what's the
Okay.
motion?
We're-
What's-
we're
what's the
voting
motion?
on
So the motion is to approve.
Motion is to
Motion
approve,
to
And then it's gonna
and
be
then I
voted.
guess we're voting no.
Just wanna clarify.
Right, Bonnie?
Are we at motion to what?
To approve.
Thank you, Steve, Courtney.
No.
Okay, Brad,
Yes.
No.
Jennifer,
No.
Rob,
No.
Faith.
No.
Okay. All right, council, we'll get back, we'll put some pencil to it. Mark, thank you for being here as well. All right.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Tom has a question.
Yes.
That motion failed, so you don't have a motion.
It failed, so we did not pass the sewer budget. Now we gotta go back to the drawing board again.
It should have been at
His
least my
motion
motion, not.
failed, so there is not a motion.
We can fall back
He
to
did
the
a
old
motion
sewer
to
budget.
approve, but then they all voted no.
We voted no on the sewer budget, because the numbers aren't correct.
So are you wondering if he needs a motion
To do something
to veto
else.
or to not approve?
Yeah,
No.
okay.
I'll make a motion for Tom to sit quietly and,
No.
Hey, Tom knows a lot about the city.
The only time that gets a little confusing is in those zoning cases. Where you have to have that affirmative motion overriding.
All right, so no executive session, planning and zoning.
We got new business.
Oh,
We got new business.
I'm way ahead of myself. Sorry about that. All right, new business, 8-1. Want to get out of here?
Okay, City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026-021, an ordinance pursuant to KRS 81A.412, annexing into the City of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, by consent of all property owners, 14.279 acres more or less of property located along the south side of State Highway 44, 7.3 miles southeast from Mount Washington and 2.6 miles northeast from Shepherdsville, all as more particularly described in and on exhibits to this ordinance, sponsored by Councilmember Faith Portman. Summary, Section 1 sets forth a description of the properties which are the subject of this ordinance as real estate consisting of 14.279 acres more or less located at and known as State Highway 44, Shepherdsville, Kentucky 40165, parcel IDs 045 E0002 008, 045 E0002 009, E45 E0002 010, and 045 000 conveyed to Indiana Oaks, Inc. and Bullitt County Deed Book 1154, page 209, hereinafter properties. Section 2 incorporates by reference the exhibits that describe and illustrate the properties. Section 3 sets forth that the properties are adjacent to the city's boundaries and are urban in character and suitable for development for urban purposes. Section 4 sets forth that the owners of record of the properties have given prior written consent and that the city enacts a single ordinance annexing the property. Section 5 sets forth that the properties are annexed into the city limits of the city of Shepherdsville. Section 6 sets forth that after annexation, the properties will remain subject to the same land use restrictions as applied by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court prior to annexation. Section 7 sets forth the severability clause. Section 8 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 9 sets forth the publication requirement.
We're gonna wait a minute till, Catherine gets back. I just wanna make sure that
And
you know.
Brenda.
What's that?
Brenda.
Brenda,
That's what I'm saying, wait for Brenda to get back.
you said me.
Anyway, so I want to make sure that you all know that one of the things that I did talk to Judge Summers about, that anybody that's going to be going into the city does not go to fiscal court to get their planning and zoning. They need to come to us to get annexed in, and then they have to go through planning and zoning with us. Because what happens is, well, and they got a little aggressive, because you don't want this, so you're putting you put the burden on the Bullitt County to get the planning and zoning people, and then they come to us. And that happened twice, if you remember. It happened.
Is there a provision for us to force developers to do that?
Well, again, we're gonna try to make sure that anybody comes in, because we explained it to them. I just think that they just kind of, I mean, I don't think it was intentional, may not really pay attention, because I said, anytime you're gonna do that, if you're gonna be annexed into the property, go do your planning and zoning and then come to us. Don't go to the fiscal court, because they're doing it, but it's really should be the responsibility of the city to do the planning and zoning. And it's happened twice, and we told them, we didn't want it like that. And so Judge Summers and I have discussed that we'll make sure moving forward. Because I thought that they were going to go just like we asked them to, but it's not a big deal. It's not even a big deal, but I just think for integrity and just that partnership, we should be taking the responsibility on. Does
Are
that
you
make
wondering
sense,
if we
Tom?
can do something to actually require them versus
that's
a
good.
strong recommendation?
Yeah.
In theory, but
And usually it does work pretty good, but we've had two examples where they just didn't follow the guidelines.
outside of just refusing to annex, if they go that route,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think in this case, I think it was not malicious. I think they just were anxious to get it and they figured time, we're trying to do it all. Again, I don't wanna, I get it. Everything runs a process, and sometimes that tables get a little long. But I would prefer, I just like to make sure I say that. I mean, I just think it's important for the city to know that we have a working relationship with the county. We wanna make sure we keep that up there. And when, I'm waiting, I was kinda also looking for Ms. Brenda.
I'm
So, is there
surprised.
anybody here we could ask questions
I know.
About what?
About this
about this
property?
I mean, they knew about it because I'd been in contact with Mark Edison, and I told him that, yeah, we were gonna have the
I thought maybe that's why Emily was here.
first reading. No, she's here on the next annexation.
Yeah, she's on this one.
I mean,
Yes.
I've read it over, I had a couple questions. I guess I could call them, but.
Call Corey Proctor, or.
Did we leave enough room for 44 growth?
It says.
It has, it's got
in
the
the
30,
thing-
it's got the 30 feet easement.
Yeah, they
went through all
got
that.
right of way,
Yeah,
yeah.
and and moving forward, we need to do that. I think the problem with the development of 44,
We've
that the
been
houses
saying
get
that.
so close to 44, that makes it really, as far as expanding, you got so many hands in the pot now. That's why a lot of that expansion isn't gonna be in play. We are gonna get that turning lane 6 to 8 years from now, is really the conversation, and I think it's a little too late for that, but that goes back to 30 years ago, before we're gonna talk about it. But I think at this point, just wanna make sure that you guys know, Faith, what we can do, if you wanna reach out to them, and we'll do some things, so. And if anybody else, if you guys will send me some questions or something like that, I'll get it to them.
I already talked to the landowners next to it, and they
Okay.
were okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I've talked to everybody around there.
okay.
You want us to send you the questions, or?
You send to both of us, yeah, cause I mean, I got both numbers for them, so.
But I've read all the stuff from planning and zoning,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
that's what they're.
we'll make sure we get the next couple of days for that.
Did they say why they wanna be annexed into the city?
They need sewers,
Sewers?
yeah, for the
I
residential.
thought they said in here that they already had access to sewers and water, Mount Washington Water and all that.
No, they don't have sewers. Yeah, they don't have sewers.
Well,
That's
they
why.
was stated, it was stated that.
It was stated
Okay.
that they have access to sewers.
Okay, they're not doing it through them, they're actually doing it through us, that's what they were trying to do, they wanted to be part of, they came into us for the annexation piece. Yeah, we didn't ask them to, they came to us, and I need to make sure that's very clear, on annexations, they've come to us in each case. So if you look at it, from a standpoint, if they were trying to get sewers, look at the expense, that's probably why they came this way,
Did they,
because this is across the street. It's St. Andrews is right there.
Very across the street.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it's a cost, how much are they gonna charge people to actually have sewer? Or the cost of their house. So, but anything like that, if, Jennifer, you guys have any questions, just reach out to me, Catherine, we'll get them to them. Okay, Ms. Catherine, 8.2, 026022.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026022, an ordinance pursuant to KRS 81A.412, annexing into the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, by consent of all property owners, 2.497 acres more or less of property located on West Blue Lick Road, all is more particularly described in and on exhibits to this ordinance, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow. Summary, section 1 sets forth the description of the property owner of the property, which is the subject of this ordinance, is real estate consisting of 2.497 acres more or less located at and known as West Blue Lick Road, Shepherdsville, Kentucky, 40165, parcel ID 036-000-01013D, conveyed to BHW Properties LLC in Bullitt County Deed Book 1157, page 443, hereinafter property. Section 2 incorporates by reference the exhibits that describe and illustrate the property. Section 3 sets forth that the property is contiguous to the city's boundaries and is urban in character and suitable for development for urban purposes. Section 4 sets forth that the owners of record of the property have given prior written consent and that the city enacts a single ordinance annexing the property. Section 5 sets forth that the property is annexed into the city limits of the city of Shepherdsville. Section 6 sets forth that after annexation, the property will remain subject to the same land use restrictions as applied by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court prior to annexation. Section 7 sets forth the severability clause. Section 8 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 9 sets forth the publication requirement.
Hi, Ms. Emily. Touch it up front there. Yep,
How are you all? Good to be back.
we're good, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is an annexation for that back half of the parcel. As you remember, the front half was in the city, the back half was in the county. So we're just requesting that the back half be annexed into the city, so the entire parcel is within the city. We did come before you all and fiscal court for the zoning. And one of the things that we talked about at the zoning last meeting where it was approved was access from the mobile home park and creating an easement with Poe Shep LLC, the adjoining property owner, in order to, increase the walkability of that area so that people could walk to the Dollar General. And you can see on the plat that we've submitted to you all that there is a 10-foot access easement that connects to that mobile home park to address that concern. And the easement has already been recorded with the clerk's office.
I think it helps a lot of those people back there.
Looks good to me.
Awesome, thanks.
Any other questions? Kate, Rob, Jennifer? We're good? All right, that was quick today.
Yeah, it was.
Man.
Thank you, guys.
Well, we love the pictures. Good to see you.
I'll see you guys
Thank you,
next
Miss
time.
Emily. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Catherine, 026023.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 026023, an ordinance amending ordinance 025013 related to a personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow. Summary, section 1 sets forth that ordinance 025013 is amended as set forth herein. Section 2 sets forth that section 4 related to the wastewater treatment plant department is amended to allow a total of 4 full-time employees for the positions of foreman and assistant foreman, and a total of 8 full-time employees for the positions of collection technician 1, 2, and 3. Section 3 sets forth that section 5 related to the fire department is amended to add the position of major training officer, base pay rate, and authorized staffing level. Section 4 sets forth the severability clause. Section 5 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 6 sets forth the publication requirement.
All right, any questions from council?
Yeah, you need to go back and read 26-022, you didn't read it. She just came up and talked, we didn't read the.
I read it.
For the Dollar General?
Yeah, is that what she just said?
Huh?
She just did that.
Yeah, I just read
But
it.
you didn't, you just read
No.
23, you didn't read 22.
No, I read it.
Are
I
you
read
sure?
both, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what? She thought I had not actually read the summary for Emily's or that annexation. So,
All right, any questions about?
So on this, did sewer add a position for this coming budget year?
No, they just, I think they classified it differently. They didn't change the numbers, but they wanted more in one of the, because they have more people that are in a group, that changes the pay rates if you try to.
No.
Well, the wastewater collection
that-
technician went from 7 to 8.
It
It's-
did.
I'm sorry.
it did.
Oh,
It
I
did.
apologize.
You're right. No, Brad. So what happened
I
is
know.
that, I think they bumped their seasonal
Okay,
up to a full-time.
That's right.
okay. But they're gonna keep a seasonal. There was no exchange, right?
As far as I know,
So-
they're gonna keep a seasonal, yes.
Okay, so we're adding a position.
Yes, you're adding a full-time
Okay.
position.
Okay. Wasn't clear on that.
So, yeah. The assistant foreman and foreman, you will not be.
Right,
But
you're
that,
just,
they needed, and so they wanted some of that flexibility, for some movement. And that way they, they needed to
and
bump the up.
that's fine. I just wanted to make clear that we were adding
Yeah,
an
and
additional.
I
Yes.
apologize, Brad, because
Okay.
that was a seasonal being moved up. And I'll say this about that, did Scott and Arthur talk to you about that? Because I know that they've been discussing it the last couple weeks.
I
Did they
don't
say anything
remember
to you guys about
that being discussed specifically.
Will you guys reach out to them?
Okay.
I would encourage, because again, I don't know what they said in your meetings. I mean, I know that you had a budget meeting with all of them about their staffing. I don't know when they actually,
Well,
when we
mine was
first came
just
up with this.
No,
I just had a
ours
phone conversation with him, so
Okay,
I don't think
okay.
we got into that.
Okay.
We didn't talk about budget, like adding positions, did we?
No, that's what I'm saying.
We
I
talked
don't,
about
if they,
just the
No,
tax increase.
well, now, I did talk to Scott, but he didn't mention that. He
Yeah.
did mention that, there was gonna be raises put in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
this is the one where I
He
think,
said no increase in total numbers of staff on hand, so it just said.
no, okay. Because I think originally I was looking at the numbers, I didn't think he was changing those numbers, Brad. But I think there was some flexibility in that number. So I don't know if this wasn't actually put into the ordinance and how it was stated. So I just want to make sure, at this point, if we need to, I mean, we're gonna go back and do their budget. So if we need to make sure we clarify that with Scott, I mean, I can reach out to those guys tomorrow, make sure. So if it's right and that's what he wants, then I think we'll make sure that you guys are aware of that, because then it becomes a budgetary thing. Okay? Because I thought he had told me that they were just looking at having the flexibility, because of the technicians, they wanted more in those numbers and they had a larger group.
Yeah, I mean, I assume he's gonna keep the seasonal position open and just make the current one permanent, right? Is that,
That's
That
my gathering of it, but I wanted to make sure what he told you guys, and again, I know.
I don't think he had a conversation. This
Yeah,
all
we
came
didn't-
up through email that
Okay.
Arthur sent to me. I then emailed the council, part of what Arthur had said about how they wanted to do this, copied Arthur and Scott on that email, so I don't
Okay.
know if there was, but that's how that came about.
Okay, so, but again, because I know that I had a conversation with Scott, and what he was wanting to do that. I had no problem with doing that, but I want to make sure it was clear with you guys. Okay. So again, we got a reading on that, but what we'll do is we'll clarify that, Brad. All right? All right,
Oh, he said, let's see. They're not adding more staff.
yeah,
They had people move up in levels, and so they're not
Yeah, I thought-
adding more staff, they're just moving them up.
right, but on the books, we'll still have the seasonal position that person occupied
Yes.
available.
yes.
Yes,
So, but again, it becomes, if he decides to fill it, it's a budgetary thing, he's got to come to us, get it.
right.
Okay,
So what's changing is their classification.
that's correct.
Oh, I understand that, I just.
No, I think it's a fair point, because we've had this
Right.
conversation enough.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to, I could.
So that's causing the change in, the ordinance. They have to amend it because of the upward movement of current employees.
Well, but they're also,
Oh, let me go to the,
right, but they're also like combining the foreman and the assistant foreman positions to like give them flexibility, but, and the wastewater collection, like they're having that flexibility of levels that they didn't
Yes.
have before.
right.
But within that, they also increased one of those full-time positions.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah, 'cause it
this guy went up.
Yeah, well, there was 7 positions total.
Okay,
That was the question.
yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were asking, are they keeping the
Yes,
seasonal?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's easy.
He said yes.
Yes.
All right.
Took a long way.
No, but again, and I would recommend seriously, if there's any other questions about that, please reach out to Scott and Arthur, okay? Make sure that you guys get any information on that. Are we good? All right. No executive session. Planning and zoning, we'll actually have Jeremy at our next meeting to give you an update on that. They've got a meeting coming up, all right? Board of Adjustments, Dwayne didn't have anything. Department heads, we got Mark and Jody back there. I'm gonna be honest with you, unless you have something dynamic that you say you're good, thank you for being here. We had a good, healthy meeting earlier. All right. So council, Ms. Faith, what you got for us?
Nothing.
All right. Miss Bonnie Enlow, what you got?
I don't have anything tonight.
All right. Miss Mendez, what you got?
I do not have anything
All right. Mr. Rob Adams.
Well, I guess we'll just,
All right. And Mr. Brad Whitaker.
motion
I got something.
adjourn.
I was trying to rush us to get out.
She had anything.
Brenda, I ask her all the time. Brenda, do you have something?
No.
Okay. I asked. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. All right. Motion and second.
Second.
All right, Faith. All right.
Rob, Sandy,
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
and Bonnie.
Yes.
Council, thank you so much. Tom, thank you for being here. And listen, I apologize for her